teaching and learning. I am Alia Bilay, and I am the first speaker of the opposing team. I will present arguments that will lay out the foundation for the second and third speakers. I will lay the foundation by highlighting the tenets of the constructivistic approach to learning that encompasses the physical classroom. My second speaker would add the structure to this foundation by providing you with information on the 21st century skills which are better achieved through physical classroom. And my third speaker would add the roof to this structure by presenting all the advantages of teaching and learning in the physical classroom. At the end of this debate, our opponents will be agreeing with us that the physical classroom is more effective than virtual classroom. The key terms of the Moot are virtual classroom, effective, and Merriam Dictionary defines virtual as being on or simulated on a computer or computer network, and not. And according to the Cambridge Online Dictionary, virtual is seen as an activity done using computer technology over the internet and not involving people physically going somewhere. The term physical classroom refers to the overall design and layout of the learning environment and its learning centers, while the Cambridge Online Dictionary defines effective as being successful or achieving the results that you want. Inri states in the Moot, learning goals are more successful through online activities than in the physical classroom. This, we are about to prove, is absolutely inconclusive. Now for the foundation. Teaching and learning should take place effectively to enable students to acquire knowledge and develop skills for the future career needs. There are many factors which contribute to the effectiveness of learning. And one of the important factors which need attention is the learning environment. According to the social constructivistic approach, learning is based on the assumption that individuals learn to construct their knowledge and meanings through interactions with others. Throughout decades, educators have been applying this approach to teaching and learning process. And this is not done through virtual classrooms, but through the physical classroom. The physical classroom provides a learning environment that allows a deep level of interaction that the virtual classroom cannot provide. In fact, we see the virtual classroom as a plan B, a contingency plan to the physical classroom. Say with me, my opponents. The virtual classroom is a contingency plan to the physical classroom. My opponents will agree with me on this because it is exactly what is taking place now due to COVID-19. The Minister of Education uses the virtual platform as a backup plan to continue the educating of students. However, let's face the fact. Many principals and school leaders are going above and beyond to meet the COVID-19 protocols for physical classes to resume. If this virtual classroom was such an effective means of accomplishing learning goals, Mrs. Smiley would not be working overtime to get us back in the physical environment. My uninformed opponents, I am imploring you to visit the Clarendon chapter of Jamaica Teachers Association Facebook page to see how many schools have reopened over the past 6 weeks. If this virtual platform was so effective, why would these teachers risk their health when they can work from the comfort of their homes? This leads us back to the social constructivism theory, where the teachers are willing to go to an environment that facilitates the social interaction of teachers and students in learning a new concept. The teachers cannot manage your learning environment through advice. Frankly, mute your mics have become a slang during these online classes. How many of you fall asleep behind those cameras? How many of you are playing games while the teacher is explaining a concept? How many of you are logged onto classes, yet you are not even in class because you were sent to the shop. How effective is that? My opponents will argue that you can always go back online because the work will be placed in the Google Classroom, as we can engage in an asynchronous learning. But I interject to point out that some students learn by hearing than doing. A video and a worksheet cannot adequately help a student understand a concept. The physical classroom caters to the social development of students. It's a foster environment where students can learn and play together. Online classes mainly take place through the internet. As such, online classes lack the regular student-teacher interaction that is common with traditional learning. On the other hand, learning in traditional classes involves direct interaction between students and the teacher. The physical classroom is the real, tangible, touchable place to teach and learn. It is the place where teachers engage students, encourage participation from the entire class, and expand on thought and ideas raised by students. These interactions cannot be duplicated in a virtual classroom. In the physical classroom, teacher-to-student interactions and student-to-student interactions are all a part of learning experience. In the virtual classroom, the teacher is able to interact with only one student at a time, and it is from behind a device. Raising questions and listening to other students' opinions typically take place through chats, as opposed to real-life face-to-face communication. My opponents may argue that the virtual classroom also has real-time teaching. I say to you, the virtual classroom tries to overcome the lack of teacher-to-student interaction, though the implementation of synchronous learning, video chatting, messaging with multiple students. However, it does not cater to the social interaction as the constructivistic approach would have established. Therefore, the efforts to create a virtual classroom environment simply cannot compete with the real thing, which is the physical classroom. The opponents risk their case.
Right, boys and girls, judges, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the first speaker of the opposing team. I am not going to say anything because the next person on the floor, which is Amelia Frank from the proposing team, Speech Weavers, will respond to Alia Belite. All right, so Amelia, unmute your mic and take the floor.
Ready, miss?
Yes, baby girl, go ahead.
As my fellow teammate Jaden Bennett has clearly stated that online class is more flexible. This is a fact proven by UCPT universities. For example, if instead of writing all the notes given to us during class session, we could save it on our device and complete it during our free time. The next point I would like to address is that online classes are safer due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Don't you agree with me? Well, corona cases are increasing rapidly on a daily basis all over the world. In January alone, COVID-19 in Jamaica have increased by 210% when compared to January as confirmed by the New York Times report. With this information, would you send your children to school? Bear in mind that majority of children take public transportation to school, and we cannot just look at a person and say that they're COVID free. No, let us move on to our next argument, that online classes carry a lighter workload than physical classrooms. Not only do we have to travel to and from school with a heavy backpack, but we also avoid writing for long hours per day. This concludes my second argument.
Amelia, you're finished? Amelia? She turned off the mic. That means she's finished. All right, so we have heard from the second speaker of the proposing team, Speech Weavers. Now I'm going to invite the second speaker of the opposing team, brilliant minds. Is that Tonian or Deborah?
Miss Ready?
Yes, darling, go ahead.
I am Tony and Donaldson. My duty is to build on this foundation led by the first speaker, and I will lay the structure by presenting arguments on the 21st century skills. A learner must have to navigate the working world and why these skills are better achieved in the physical classroom. A 21st century education is about giving students the skills they need to succeed in new world and helping them to grow confidence to practice those skills. These skills are creativity, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. Creativity is about thinking through information in new ways, making new connections, and coming up with new solutions to problems. Critical thinking is about analyzing information and drawing conclusions. Communication is understanding things well enough to share them clearly with other people. Collaboration is a teamwork. In 2017, the Ministry of Education implemented the National Standard Curriculum. Through this curriculum, teachers are instructed to plan these lessons. In other words, every lesson being taught must bring out these skills. In comparing the virtual classroom with the physical classroom, it is unquestionable that virtual classroom does not effectively provide the opportunity for all these skills to come out during the teaching and learning session. Students are working from devices as such information are readily at their fingertips. So, whenever pertinent questions are asked, which draws on the students' critical thinking, what they do is to ask Mr. Google. Swiftly and quickly, teachers are provided with answers, but these answers are merely what others think. Without the use of technology, in the physical classroom, students are forced to think at a higher level and come up with solutions to problems. The environment make the class, which is why virtual teaching cannot be more effective. The virtual classroom slows down the students' creativity, and again, they just ask Mr. Google to copy and paste pictures of diagrams for given assignments. It is because of virtual classroom they are robbed of opportunity to process, to express their creativity in construction and cultivating ideas. As a matter of fact, virtual classrooms promote laziness in students. Many students are in bed during synchronous or asynchronous learning. Sometimes, instead of listening to teachers, they are secretly on TikTok watching videos or other applications. Virtual classroom is one of the biggest drawbacks to effective collaboration. My opinion, do you enjoy doing group work virtually? I know many times have I know many times you are called by a group member to do group work and that person does not have internet connection or their parents or guardians are using the phone. So most times work is done by one or just two group members. How many times you were blocked by a group member who does not want to do his or her share of the work? And then you want to tell us that virtual classroom is more effective than physical classroom? A teacher is able to supervise all group activities in the physical classroom and offer suggestions where needed. It is so much effective to collaborate in the physical classroom. There are no barriers to learn together in the physical space. Communication is so important to teacher learning settings. Yet, many students are unable to speak because of so many different activities going on in their environment. They are afraid to unmute their mics because they do not want anyone else to hear what is taking place in their homes or wherever they are. Worldwide, how many students do not have internet access when synchronous classes are going on? So they miss the opportunities of asking questions for clarifications. So, my opponents, you have failed miserably and trying to convince us that virtual classroom is more effective than physical classroom. As my first speaker said, it is just a backup plan. In the physical classroom, the hands-on experience of learning is far more effective. Students are able to learn together with little or no barriers. Virtual classroom is Virtual classroom have disadvantages such as communication gaps or low internet connection. The reality is COVID-19 has affected each one of us. The online classes have helped teachers to complete the curriculum which would not be possible in any other way. But was it effective? Did you hear about the drama between CXC, the drama with CXC and the many ungraded results across the Caribbean? This, my opponent, was a result of virtual classroom. Virtual classroom is just a backup plan and does not cater to 21st century learners. The physical classroom is more effective in enforcing the 21st century skills in a learner than the virtual classroom. The opposition rests.
Don't have to cover your face, you did well. All right. So the opponents have spoken. Can the proponents outdo the opponents? So at this time, Alia Williams will take the floor. She will respond to what Tonian has just said. Alia, you can unmute your mic.
Okay. Before I start my own argument, let us have a look at what has been said. As my first speaker has clearly stated, this global pandemic is no joke. There are several schools currently closed due to the confirmed COVID cases. One of such examples is Emmanuel College, currently battling over 20 cases and still closing. He also stated how much easier online learning would be. My second speaker, Amelia, further emphasized how online learning would make workload much lighter and less stressing on us children. Think about it. Face-to-face classes would require heavy backpack and hours spent writing. Online classes, however, only requires a quiet spot and internet access. We would have the notes already in the Google Classroom and could easily reach for the textbook when needed. Online learning caters to all the different learning styles, so the teachers can use it to his or her advantage and allow the child to learn in his or her own unique way. So we may miss physical classroom, our health must come first. Remember, the children are future. Furthermore, this world is heading in a technological era. What better way to get us ready than starting us early in the online setting? Here ends my final point.
All right. So the proponent has spoken, and we are over to the opponent, the last speaker, Deborah Simpson. Can you respond to what Ali has just said? Unmute your mic, Deborah. Unmute. Deborah. Unmute.
Manual College. Manual College. Manual College. Say it, Manual. It was Manual College is battling COVID with all of Jamaica is battling COVID. However, business is still going on. I am Deborah Simpson. My first and second speaker have presented some conclusive arguments on why the physical classroom is more effective than virtual classroom, and I am here to put the roof on the structure that they have
Why
built.
is she not on? Why is her video not
The
on?
proposition has failed to bring evidence and strong arguments to the table as to why the virtual classroom is more effective than physical classroom. In fact, they have become like a clanging cymbal and a stuttering gang, mumbling on the statement that they are unsure about. As such, I am here to place a steel on their mouth in order to stop the nonsense. They have been presenting honorable judges. I am here to present the advantage of learning in the physical classroom, and I can assure you I won't disappoint you as my opponents did. One advantage of the physical classroom over online classes is that students who are not disciplined enough may not be able to sail through successful because there is nobody to push them around in being disciplined. With traditional classes, however, there are rules to put them in check. As such, students attending physical classes are more likely to be committed to their education. Some students are not disciplined to log on every day. Even in our very own race course primary, teachers have to be calling students who have stable internet access, asking why are they not online. Their ridiculous answers would always be, "Teacher, I am having internet access," which are sometimes lie. Because a classmate or a teacher just saw the WhatsApp status which was put up a minute ago. The reality is there is no self-discipline to get in getting online. In other cases, many students left their home to access internet elsewhere, but because they are not being supervised where they are, the time is used playing free fire. In the physical classroom, however, a student leave home for school, he or she, under the care of the teacher, and as such, he or she is motivated to be a part of the teaching and learning. Another advantage in the physical classroom in that doubt that students may be having regarding concepts can be clarified by the teacher at any time in the virtual classroom. Many times, students do not ask questions in class when they are unsure about a concept. However, in the physical classroom, they often seize the moment to approach the teacher in a one-on-one conversation. In seeking clarification, in the virtual space, students do not want to disrupt the teacher after they log off. A WhatsApp message to the teacher may not be answered right away. Communication between the teacher and the student is very good. In the physical classroom, in case of any doubts, students can ask at the very moment and get it clear. The interaction between students and teacher is com- comparatively less in virtual classroom. The concept become clearer when decision is done face to face. Most importantly, students are given the opportunity to socialize with each other in the physical classroom. Meeting up with others in is an opportunity to network and even make friendship that can last for a lifetime. We have been presented some solid arguments that have dismantled what the opponents have been put forward. We have been still we are steadfast and unmovable. The opposing in opposing the mood, and we have proven that physical classroom is more effective than virtual classroom. The opposition rests their case.
All right, Deborah, from grade 4, we're moving right to the rebuttal. So at this time, the opposing team will bring the rebuttal to the floor. And the person who will do this is Alia Belite, followed by the proponent, and Jaden will be doing the rebuttal on that team. All right, so Alia, you're on the floor again.
We have listened to your arguments and we are not impressed with you. You have not provided us with any arguments to prove that virtual classroom is effective. It is just a plan B. Physical classroom is better for social interaction. It is the real deal. COVID-19 is everywhere, and we must go on with life. It is our responsibility to protect ourselves. The physical classroom is more effective than virtual classroom.
All right, so that's it for Alia. Now we're gonna have Jaden responding to Alia. Where's Jaden? Not seeing Jaden. Okay. All right, Jaden.
Yes, yes. My opponents might have said negative things about online learning, but they are completely wrong. Focusing on online classes help us children to focus more on our schoolwork. Therefore, distraction is not an option. Online classes have many positive factors. In fact, so many that it would take a decade to list them all. Online classes resolve the problem of not spreading the virus, working comfortably, and most of all, keeping safe while COVID-19 roams the streets. Plus, the safety results would not have been a factor of physical classrooms because exams were done online. Opponents, please get your facts straight. You're throwing around false accusations. Do not alter proven facts. And the only reality that the third speaker showed is that a child who is determined to learn must and will learn. As our team even showcased, time and discipline is key. This concludes my rebuttal.
All right, very good. I want everybody to give them a virtual clap. Notice that we're having a virtual debate. All right, so I want everybody to put their hands together. Let me go to the screen so I can see the students who have their cameras on. Yes, man, put your hands together. Great job. Wonderful job. They put themselves forward to present this debate today, and they did it so well. And if you notice, Deborah is in grade 4. We have students from grade 4 to grade 6 participating in the debate today. And I think all of them did well. But to tell you who the winner is, that is not on me at all. So at this time, I'm going to ask the judges to give their feedback. So I'm going to start with Mrs. James. Unmute Mrs. James.
Okay, are you hearing me now?
Clearly, clearly.
Okay. First, I must congratulate these students. In my opinion, they have done a marvelous job.
I think
You know,
so.
when you take into account that they are primary school students. So we can just imagine if they are properly coached and when they go on to high school, oh my God, wonderful, wonderful. When it comes on to organization and clarity, well, for clarity, everybody could be heard. Organization, that was fairly good. But what really caught my attention was the use of argument. Beautiful, beautiful. Some good, really sound arguments were put forward. Really, really put forward, especially, I don't know if I should say, on those who were for the Moot. Real good arguments. Presentation and style, presentation was good. They were strong. You could see the what should I say? Oh, the body language. The body language spoke for them, right? But in one case, I think instead of putting forward, I'm not saying which team, but instead of putting forward your arguments, I think too much time was spent criticizing the other team. And remember, we had not yet reached the rebuttal, you know, so we have to be careful of that. Okay. And whatever you are saying, you must show it in your face. The voice, your tone of voice. You need to change the tone when you are putting arguments forward. But on the whole, I think it was a very, very good debate, very good effort, very good effort. And again, I congratulate you all.
Come on, put your hands together, guys. Thank you so much, Mrs. James. Well said, well said. All right. Let me see if Mrs. Trout has, I hope I'm getting the title right. Is Mr. or Mrs.? Let me see if Miss Trout has anything different to say about the debate today. Did I get the title?
Okay, good afternoon. No, Mrs. Trout.
All right, Miss Trout.
Miss Trout.
All right.
Okay. Well, for some, I must agree with my fellow judge. I must congratulate and commend all the debaters today. They did very well. They did very well. I was entertained. I was hooked so much on some of the points that they brought out in their delivery. They did very well. I must commend them, right? The organization was okay for me, but as she said, the expression and the gesticulation, the body languages speak for most of them. They did very well. I will not speak on the teams. I will wait and discuss that with the other judge when that time is right. But I must commend the children. They did well, and I must commend their coaches for coaching them. And we can see the type of students that we have at race course and the students that we are putting out society later on in the future. I must commend them for a job well done for me. And that's what I have to say.
All right, thank you so much. I might put you and Mrs. James in a breakout room to calculate the score. And later, you're going to send the score to me, and later we will announce it at the concert. All right, guys? So we have come to the end of our debate. But I could ask them to leave and we remain here as well. All right, guys, so I'm going to let you say your grace. You're going to go and you're going to have your lunch and you're going to come back at 12:30 because there's no point for us to wait until 1 o'clock to do the little, the mini concert and the announcement. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, clasp your hands, and you're going to say your grace. Clasp your hands, close your eyes. Be present at. I'm not hearing you, but that's okay. Be present at our table, Lord. Be here and everywhere adore. We creatures bless and grant that we may feast in paradise with thee. Amen. Enjoy your lunch and get back on the link I've sent the link.
Best data also.
Or later on we can do that. All right, so later on you will see a link in your guidance groups. Your teachers have them as well for the concert, so I want to see everybody back later. All right, so you're gonna leave now. Leave me with the judges. Bye, guys. Yes, get off. Go and have your lunch and get back for one. Let me see. They're leaving so slowly. Whoa, they're going. They're going. Lord, they're moving so slowly. Let me see. They're still here. So I'm gonna. Guys, go for your lunch. Get off and go for your lunch. I'm making a breakout room for you guys, for you, Mrs. James. So you and Miss Strout will be in there. All right, guys, go for your lunch. Miss what's the menu? I don't know what them food you like. Enjoying it.
Okay, we're here.
Miss Strout, Miss Strout, I hear your voice, but I'm not seeing you.
Yes.
I had to run away from over there because they wouldn't move at all.
No matter.
You know,
You're going to event alone
so we're in a room
You're
by
not seeing
ourselves.
me?
Yes, I'm seeing you.
So, Miss, you're not seeing me?
Yes, I'm seeing you.
Okay.
So you and Mrs. James now, you're gonna put the scores
Okay.
together and come up with the average, and then you tell the best speaker and so on. Because they're going slowly. They're there. So I made the room.
Probably dividing by 4.
Just a minute, I soon come, baby. Just a minute. Miss, are we going to discuss the speakers?
Add up the scores first and divide it by 4 and come up with the number. And then you and Mrs. James can talk about the best speaker. You heard me?
Okay.
Yeah.
The third person came too late.
Yes, miss.
He couldn't be a part of the judging panel at all. He came when I think it was the second speaker on the other team. So I couldn't use him.
So, miss, just to be clear, is it that it's just one score for all of them?